Tonight on CTV News at 5, a brazen theft at a Kitchener LCBO store, 6 men walking out with bagfuls of alcohol, and Ontario's premier now calling out the thieves. Plus, new speed cameras coming to several school zones in Waterloo Region, where they're going and what drivers have to say about it. And what's next for a former Wilfrid Laurier Golden Hawk, Taylor Elgersma, cut from the active Green Bay roster, but his NFL hopes are still alive. CTV News at 5 starts right now. Good afternoon and thank you for joining us. First at 5, new speed cameras are on the way for several school zones in Waterloo Region. With just a few days before kids head back to class, the region is reminding drivers to slow down to keep everyone safe. 11 school zones will see new speed cameras in the fall, including Fisher-Hallman Road at Forest Heights Collegiate Institute. The camera is already installed there, but the region says it won't be activated until late next month. But already the camera is causing mixed feelings for those who drive in the area during all hours of the day, not just when school is in session.
When schools are closed down and on weekends, I think that's a little punitive.
It seems like people just kind of slow down in front of it anyway and then keep going fast afterwards.
For the school, for the kids, it's a safety thing. I know there's going to be a lot of people that'll be upset because, you know, there's a 60-kilometer limit and all of a sudden you're down to 40. But I think safety is more important.
The region is expected to release its municipal speed camera mid-year report next week. CTV's Alexandra Hollick will have more details coming up at 6. Now to some news we're following this hour. Waterloo Regional Police investigating reports of a shooting in the area of Weber Street East and Kinsey Avenue in Kitchener this afternoon. A 36-year-old man was transported to an out-of-town hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Police have 2 people in custody and believe it was a targeted incident. Officers are still in the area and are asking anyone with information to contact them. Waterloo Regional Police warning the public a growing number of distraction thefts targeting seniors. Let's bring in CTV's Leanne Evans for a closer look at this and some other news we're following this hour. Leanne.
Colton, thank you. The warning comes as more people are reporting this type of crime, including 86-year-old Maria Ferreira. She says she was packing groceries in her car when a group of people in the car next to her asked for directions. That's when a young woman, seemingly grateful, placed a thank you chain around Ferreira's neck while removing her gold necklace at the same time.
This girl from the back of the car called me and said, come over here. And she put a necklace on my neck, and I didn't notice she took my beautiful gold necklace.
Coming up at 6, Ashley Bacon will hear from police on how to best protect yourself and your loved ones from these types of scams. Also tonight, a brazen theft that saw thousands of dollars worth of booze stolen from a Kitchener LCBO store had Ontario's premier heated during a press conference today. On Saturday afternoon, 6 men walked into the store, grabbed dozens of bottles off the shelves, and walked out with bags full of alcohol. Doug Ford not mincing words as he called out the thieves in a self-professed crime rant.
Did you see these characters on the news last night that went into the LCBO up in Kitchener? They're brazen bunch of crooks. You know, I have all the confidence in the world in the Waterloo Police Services, the chief, he's a champion, the chief. We got to catch these guys and throw them in jail.
At 6, CTV's Spencer Turcotte speaks with the Deputy Chief of Police, who weighs in on the theft and the Premier's comments. We will bring you those stories and more in the next hour. Colton, for now, back to you.
All right, thank you, Leanne. And time for a first check on the forecast. Alex Pinto is live from Baden tonight for the final cruising at the pond of the season. And Alex, there's no shortage of classic and cool-looking cars.
You have that right, Colton. Cars are already starting to flood in here at this park in Baden, and we're seeing dozens and dozens of vehicles. And yes, this is the final night for the weekly event that has been taking place all summer long every Wednesday. So this is the 15th year for this event. Again, it runs every Wednesday throughout the summer, and this is the final one until next year. And it's expected to be big. It is expected to be busy. We potentially could see up to 300 300 cars or so for today. On average, every week, they typically see around 200 vehicles or so, which is pretty cool. But we've got classic cars from years past. It's getting a little bit loud just with a fire truck going right by at the moment. But pretty much, if you've got a car that you enjoy cruising in, you can bring it down here. No registration is required, which is pretty nice to see. Lots of mixing and mingling within community members here, and there are people traveling near and far. Now, lucky for us, the weather pretty much perfect. For me, a light sweater is pretty much ideal, but we're seeing plenty of sunshine. We're seeing some nice clear sky as we take a look at our satellite and radar map. Not too much activity to report. We are getting that nice, cool breeze as well, so not too many complaints for people here. Right now, temperature-wise, 21. It is in Kitchener-Waterloo, 19 in Goderich, so slightly cooler if you are along the shores of Lake Huron this hour, 22 in Sarnia, 21 in London. And we're not really feeling much extreme heat and humidity, which makes nights like this and events like this a lot more comfortable. So we'll check back in once more a little bit later. Colton.
Oh, some beautiful weather and some beautiful cars there, Alex. Hope you're having some fun. We'll check back in with you later. And here's what you need to know. The Kitchener-Waterloo Little Theatre presents the 2025 Popcorn Plays Showcase tomorrow, a chance for participants to try a bit of everything, from directing to acting, even stage management. It runs from 8 to 10 tomorrow night. Tickets are $25, but discounts are available. We'll be right back. Well, improving healthcare systems all across Ontario is something communities are dealing with, including the Brant Community Healthcare System. I'm joined by President and CEO of the Brant Community Healthcare System, Bonnie Kam. Thank you for joining me, Bonnie. I want to get into it. What are we doing right now in the community healthcare system?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me, Colton. You know, we are at a really exceptional time in Brantford. We have recently received on May the 15th, as part of the provincial government budget, an additional planning grant of $12.5 million to help us to continue to plan for a new hospital in our region.
So where are we at in that planning?
Right. So there is a very already prescribed process by the Ministry of Health Capital Branch that outlines the steps that we are to follow as part of building a new hospital. We're currently in the first planning stage, and as part of that, there's a phase called 1.3 for functional planning, which is really looking at the details of exactly what is required based on growth, based on population, and that is something that we work through very robustly to develop the requirements for the new hospital.
So we want to build a new hospital. Do we have a site of where we want to build it?
Well, as part of that May 15th announcement with the provincial government, they outlined for the first time the opportunity for us to build on a greenfield site. And that is really critical, of course, because it opens up the opportunity for the community and the hospital to choose the best possible site for this new hospital to be placed on.
Any thoughts of where we're going to go yet?
No thoughts on that, because we're really following independent process where we've elected to proceed with a task force, and that task force represents key community members and First Nations and those with experience in this area who will, in fact, work to determine the standardized criteria with which we will use to assess the appropriate site.
Kind of like we said at the top, a lot of communities are dealing with this, looking at building new hospitals. How needed is this new hospital?
Well, you may be aware Brantford Brant has very dated infrastructure. So we have a number of different towers that have come together to form the hospital. Many of them were built back in 1950. One or two of them are even 100 years old. So this is very needed. And we've also had some challenges with our infrastructure not too long ago with a boiler failure in our D wing, as well as a utility sinkhole that we're still remediating now. So the need is great.
What happens to Brantford General?
Well, it's too early to really determine that now. You know, the focus is on selecting a new site and determining exactly where that will be and continuing the planning process. But the site, in terms of the existing site and what will happen with that site, is still to be determined.
This takes a lot of time. Any ability to kind of estimate how long it would be before this hospital would open?
Well, I can tell you we're doing everything we can to expedite the timing of this this new hospital. We're really not in a position to say, Colton. I think it's really going to depend on not just our work, but also how we work through the government process.
Would the idea be to put it in Brantford, though?
Well, we represent Brantford and Brant.
Okay.
So it is going to be determined as part of this transparent, open, and independent process.
Okay. Is there a way for the public to get involved, maybe give their opinion?
Absolutely. So we're very excited because we're just about to launch our public engagement process, where we will be engaging the public and encouraging them to participate with respect to what do they see as important for a new hospital site. So we do have a website, reimaginebchs.ca. There'll be more information coming this fall as to how community members can participate.
Is this something you hear from community members? They want a new hospital?
Definitely. I mean, this process in the community started back in 2010, looking to build a new hospital. And so I believe we finally are getting some momentum going, and so it's very exciting to be at this phase. All
right, well, we're just running out of time. Let's get it in one more time. Where can people go to find out more information?
Yes, thank you, Colton. It's the website, reimaginebchs.ca, where people can access all the information regarding timelines and the survey associated with the new hospital site.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Bonnie.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Colton. I really appreciate it.
I train swimming the whole winter. I do a lot of training by myself or, training buddies, things like that.
Still ahead on CTV News at 5, another medal for a local surf sport athlete. How an Elmira teen has been improving in the sport and what's next for her. And here's what you need to know. The Kitchener Rangers are holding their annual preseason showcase at the Odd in Kitchener Friday through Sunday. Tickets from each game will support Make-A-Wish Canada and are available for purchase at the door. 5 games will take place over the weekend, featuring the Rangers and Brantford Bulldogs, Oshawa Generals, and Saginaw Spirit. And FanFest is Sunday, free for all fans, and includes games, rides, and a barbecue. We'll be right back. Okay, time to check back in with CTV's Alex Pinto, who's live at Cruisin' at the Pond in Baden. And Alex, this event takes place every Wednesday in the summer, and tonight is the final night for the season.
That's right, Colton. And, well, we don't think we could ask for better weather. It is sunny, nice blue sky, but we still have a nice cool breeze, so definitely manageable and enjoyable to be out here. And it's already getting busy. Even more people and plenty of cruising cars are expected to show up. And just take a look at some of them. So pretty cool. 20s, 30s, 40s, you name it. We're seeing it all here. All kinds of colors too, some classic and pretty unique cruising cars. So this is the 15th year for the event. Again, like you mentioned, running every Wednesday in the summer, but this is the last day for this event for the season. This one expected to be big and busy. We could see potentially upwards of 300 vehicles or so showing up today. And this is also a volunteer-run event, which is pretty nice to see. It's great to see neighbors and friends, community members really making that connection here. The Petersburg Optimist Club also supplying some food here. And some people are traveling not only just from Waterloo region, but from Toronto, even Exeter. So again, beautiful, beautiful conditions to be out here for Cruisin' at the Pond in Baden. As we take a look at our future cast right now, we're mainly just seeing some pretty clear conditions, just a few clouds for us here in Baden and many areas right across southern and southwestern Ontario also seeing that. So it's not until tomorrow we could potentially see a little bit of wet weather start to roll in. If you take a look at the system, that dark green area, heavy rain potentially at times. We could see also a risk of a thunderstorm during the afternoon hours as it makes its way further south and towards the east as well. But once that does pass for your Thursday, we're in for some pretty decent conditions for Friday. Mix of sun and cloud for the most part, but not too bad in terms of starting off your long weekend. Right now, we're sitting at a pretty comfortable 20 degrees in Kitchener-Waterloo, 19 in Mount Forest. It is also 19 if you are in Barrie this hour. And yeah, we're not feeling that extreme heat, not feeling that extreme humidity. So it feels like 20. Well, that's what it's feeling like. It is 20 right now. Expected high 22 degrees today. So we're sitting around normal for this time of year. Record high, though, 30 47.2. That was set back in 1948. And on this day in 1915, we saw an overnight record low of just 3.3 degrees. Okay, if you're an early riser, I know we've been talking about this. I am. I get up at 6 every morning, and it is dark. It is hard to get up. That's because the sun isn't rising until 6:40 in the morning, and it's not setting until 8:06 p.m. now. Overnight, 11 degrees. That is our expected overnight low, so pretty cool and comfortable if you want to maybe leave the windows open. Just a few clouds expected. And then for tomorrow, 20 degrees. Again, showers expected with the risk of a thunderstorm for the afternoon hours at this point. So Friday, at this point, we are just seeing a slight chance, 30% of showers or so with a high of 19 degrees. But take a look at your Saturday and Sunday at this point, at least. Expect to see some sunny sky, high of 21 and 24 for your Sunday. So not bad conditions to kick off the long weekend. If we're going to see rain potentially roll in, I'd rather see it during the work weekend, not as we enjoy the long weekend. But if you have plans to come out here tonight, this is going on till about dusk or so. Plenty of cars and community members to enjoy and take a peek, because lots is going to be happening here tonight, Colton.
Well, like you said, the main thing is it's not raining right now, not till tomorrow, so beautiful night to get out. Thank you so much, Alex. The Green Bay Packers have cut former Laurier Golden Hawk Taylor Elgersma, and he's not expected to sign to the practice roster, but he could still be signed by another team. CTV's Karis Mapp has more.
Third down and goal, the fake. Telford the block to the end zone, caught, touchdown. Elgersma throws it, grabbed by Shepard.
Despite making his debut during NFL preseason, Taylor Elgersma will not be suiting up for the Green Bay Packers come game day. The former Laurier Golden Hawk was placed on waivers Tuesday, just months after signing with the Packers as an undrafted free agent.
I think the idea for Taylor Elgersma was always that he would be a developmental player, not somebody who the Packers were counting on this season or maybe even next. That he would be a guy they looked at and said, hey, he's 6'5", 227, he's got a great arm. Let's see what we can do if we develop him.
Leading Laurier's football team to a Vanier Cup appearance last season, Elgersma was later invited to the Senior Bowl, an American college football all-star game, making him the second Canadian university player to earn the honor and first ever U Sports quarterback. Then, come spring, the 23-year-old played in 3 preseason games with the Packers.
I was at his second preseason game. I believe he was 7 of 11 for 109 yards, took 1 sack. He did not look out of place at all.
Tuesday's release comes as Green Bay's organization whittles down their 53-man roster.
I don't think Taylor Elgersma could have done much more to make this team. I mean, I've been very impressed. I mean, this is the last U Sport quarterback to sign an NFL contract was about 40 years ago.
Elgersma has options with a spot in the Canadian Football League.
The practice roster would pay him a lot more than his rookie salary in the Canadian Football League, were he to go to Winnipeg, which drafted him in the CFL draft this spring and owns his rights. So, ultimately, if he gets offered a practice roster spot, I would virtually guarantee you he's going to take it.
Regardless of what gridiron he ends up on, football fans say he should hold his head high.
I don't think Taylor Elgersma should be feeling anything other than pride about the way he held himself. The reality of professional football is there are things you don't control. It's something every player comes to grips with, and this is a good example of it.
That was Karis Mapp reporting. And here's what you need to know. Bring out those clubs for the Howl in One Invitational in support of the Humane Society of Kitchener-Waterloo and Stratford-Perth. Take on the par 3 course at the Badlands Golf Company in Waterloo on September 24th. Multiple prizes are available, and it costs $60 per golfer or $200 per foursome. We'll be right back.
This is your CTV Kitchener Our Community Calendar. On September 6th, you can take in the Endless Summer Music Festival in Victoria Park. It's a free day of music headlined by an incredible lineup of all Canadian, all-female bands. We'll see you next time on Our Community.
In tonight's Digital Dive, Ontario Provincial Police are asking for the public's help identifying items stolen from cemeteries in Norfolk County. Police posting a video to social media showing stacked bronze and brass fixtures. A 39-year-old man from Oxford County has since been arrested. Our online team has you covered. Just scan the QR code in the corner of your screen or go to ctvnewskitchener.ca. Time now to look at our final 5 stories we're following today. Air Canada flight attendants began voting on a new tentative deal today. More than 10,000 workers were eligible to vote from 3 this afternoon until September 6th. The proposed deal includes a pay bump and addresses the issue of unpaid work while airplanes are not in the air. The airline and their union agreed to the tentative deal last week, ending a 3-day strike that caused chaos for Canadian and international customers. A class action lawsuit has been filed against Air Transat following the Air Canada strike. The passengers involved believe Air Transat took advantage of the strike to inflate its prices after their Air Canada flight from Barcelona to Montreal was canceled, claiming they spent more than $5,000 on 2 one-way tickets with Air Transat. Air Transat says it's aware of the lawsuit but declined to comment. As cold weather pushes in the months ahead and the relationship with the U.S. is still frosty, it appears many Canadian snowbirds may not be in a hurry to head south. A new Royal LePage survey finds that 54% of Canadians who own a home in the U.S. are considering selling it within the next year. More than 60% of them say it's because of the political climate. 32% say they'll buy Canadian instead and reinvest the proceeds domestically. A new waste pilot program is rolling out in downtown Guelph this week. Businesses and residents can register to use shared garbage, recycling, and organics containers at 3 downtown sites. But some business owners say it means lugging trash further and paying extra fees. The pilot runs until the end of December. Council will review feedback early next year. And finally for us tonight, an Elmira teen is back from Nova Scotia after winning the top overall gold medal at the Canadian Surf Life-Saving Championships, along with 3 individual gold medals. Izzy Spearin competes in the craft or surf discipline, simulating an open water rescue and returning to the beach. Being Canadian, she trains most of the winter indoors, and being in Ontario, she doesn't have much access to large surf areas. The 18-year-old competed in Australia last summer and hopes to represent Canada at the World Championships in South Africa late next year.
It would be amazing to make another Worlds team. This would also be my first Worlds team as an open athlete as opposed to a youth athlete. So that's my goal, and I really hope I achieve it.
Spearin will spend the winter months back at McMaster University, a midwifery student and also a youth sports water polo player. She hopes to hear if she made the national team sometime this fall. Well, that's our time. Thanks for watching. We'll have more local news coverage at 6 o'clock, but first, here's CTV National News.